Color cuts across the boundaries of art, biology, physics, psychology, chemistry, and many other fields. Few substances are devoid of color, and most commercially marketed items are colored. So let's understand the chemistry of colors. The colorants industry has two segments, dyes and pigments, and they provide color to materials, be it textiles or paints. While a dye dissolves in liquid, pigments can be dissolved with the help of a binder. Dyes are primarily used in textiles and paper, whereas the pigments find use in paints, inks, cosmetics, and plastics. There are 12 types of dyes classified on the basis of their usage. However, reactive, disperse, and direct dyes are the most commonly used in India. Pigments are broadly classified as organic and inorganic. Let's talk about the global markets. The global dye market was valued at $10 billion in terms of revenue in 2019, and the pigment market was almost double of that at $21 billion. Global colorant market is consolidated with top 5 players accounting for more than 50% of the market share, and they are BASF, Chemours, Venator, Clariant, DIC, to name a few. Now let's talk about the Indian markets and the dye market specifically. 90% of the total dye stuff production in India is done in Gujarat, and 70% of the overall production is exported. Despite the COVID uncertainty, what is heartening is that exports are back at pre-COVID levels in August. And as per Ken Research, if we talk about the pigments market, it is valued at around 20,000 crore rupees. And the Indian dye and pigment industry, it caters to 20% of the global demand. And the companies which are majorly into the colorants market include the likes of Kiri Industries, Bodal Chemicals, Sudarshan Chemicals, Aarti Industries, Meghmani Organics, to name a few. Now let's focus on the dye value chain. The key dye raw materials are the crude derivatives, something like a naphthalene, and caustic soda and chlorine are also used. Around 15 to 20% of these raw materials are imported specifically from China. This is then used to produce dye intermediaries such as H-acid and vinyl sulfone, in which India is largely self-sufficient with only 5% imports. The prices of these two intermediaries has been stable in last 6 months. These intermediaries are further processed to make dyes. Now let's talk about the pigments market, where the raw materials is a basket of phthalic anhydride, urea, and some crude derivatives. Global leader BASF sold its pigments business to DIC, and now Clariant is also looking to sell its global pigments business owing to rising raw material import prices from China and also increased competition both from Chinese and Indian players. Pigment production capacity in China is a major source for European coatings producer of organic pigments, and this has been squeezed by stricter Chinese environmental regulation. Now this provides an opportunity to Indian players to enhance their share in the global markets. While there is still a lot of uncertainty due to rising COVID cases, this segment has huge potential as it caters to a huge export market. And if the government were to offer the right inducements, it could well be one in which India can emerge a leading global supplier.